Good morning and welcome back to DR Sports for another transfer update with myself, AGT, and the main man, Matisse, in the building. How are we?
I'm very good. It's almost like the Saturday football show back again, but new set in terms of, the way we're running this show. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Can't wait for the Saturday football show to come back, by the way.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
That's serious.
But, yourself, Fuad, and Matty Renton and myself have been around this table for that. So, really looking forward to that. The Geordie, of course. Got a new flat in Newcastle now, overlooking St James's. So, he's buzzing.
Damn.
Nice to see you in red as well, actually.
I just decided to go for some Austria colours today.
Austria.
Just shake things up,
Yeah. It's like we've almost changed teams today, isn't it? I'm in blue, you're in red.
This is done on purpose.
Might be. It might well be. Big up to everyone who's getting involved in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. It helps us. Trust me, it does. YouTubers know that. It definitely does help. You can vouch for that. Comment with your thoughts on some of the stories that we're going to be bringing to you now. And, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. 210,000 subscribers now. So make sure we can get that up as well. Right, Matisse, a lot to get through. Where do we start off today? Which club?
We got to start with Manchester United. Martinez to Manchester United. The here we go is being given by Fabrizio.
Official tick.
The official tick. 55 million euros, 5-year contract. So it's a big deal. But they had the competition from Arsenal. The little bidding war broke out. Back and forth, who's going to get him? But for me, Martinez was always favourite to go there, just because of the Ten Hag link. I was saying to Robbie yesterday, they're trying to set up like a Ajax All-Stars. Timber was linked, De Jong, even, Ericsson used to play there. Yeah, so Anthony. So I think it's a very good deal for Man United. When you look at the positions that they're weak in as well, left side centre-back Maguire, he plays there, so that's competition for Maguire.
How much was he again?
55 million euros.
No, Maguire.
80
mil. Right. No, sorry.
I don't like to talk about them prices right there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you can't. Yeah, we'll smooth past that bit.
But left side centre back, that's cover there for Maguire if he doesn't step up to the plate this season. Left back as well, just in case, because obviously they brought in a young kid as well. But Shaw, Tellez, what's going to happen with their futures will be interesting to see. And also, I think in that left side of the pivot DM position as well. They don't really have much balance in midfield. McTominay doesn't really sit. Fred's not really a sitter. Yeah. So they need someone with a little bit more defensive awareness who will sit. And also, what was always flagged up yesterday when we spoke about this, and I went back to the comments, and everyone was like, he can head the ball, he's got a great, and he does, 71% aerial success rate in Eredivisie. And everyone was like, Cannavaro and Puyo, and screaming out all of these smaller centre-backs. Obviously, they never played in the Prem.
5'8"?
5'8", 9, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, would you be worried if you had a centre-back playing 5'8", 9, regardless of the Cannavaro,
Yeah,
Puyo?
I mean, listen, there are some exceptions to the rule. Generally speaking, at Liverpool, it's been 6 foot plus. But then you look at Jamie Carragher, 5'10". There was question marks over him. Good in the air as well. And I think that's the main thing. If you're a centre-back and you're commanding on the floor and in the air, and you can be 5'9", then you have to be special. I just wonder how that percentage translates in the Premier League, where it is more physical. You are playing against bigger strikers, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And, if you compare him with the other centre-backs United have got, Maguire over 6 foot, Bailey for sure, Lindelof for sure, Varane for sure. I don't know how many of them are going to end up leaving if Martinez comes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not always the be-all and end-all, I guess.
No, I think if you got a good leap, you got a good spring, you're able to jump. I remember we are linked with Kounde, for instance, and he's another player that's not the tallest but has a good spring. I think also if you play a back three, I don't know if Ten Hag really will, but if you play a back three and you say put him on the left side of a back three, that negates the problem a little bit because you're not the epicenter of the defense kind of thing. So I think it's a great signing, to be honest. It's someone that Ten Hag knows. He knows Ten Hag, so at least stylistically, I think Ten Hag needs as many players as possible who can translate his style across to the rest of the team. That's why he's looking at, Martinez. That's why he's looking at De Jong. That's why he's been looking at, obviously, even Ericsson was linked because these players know how Ten Hag wants to play. And Man United haven't really had a style. They've had the United way, but they haven't had a real style imprinted on them in years. So it'll be interesting.
Very factual. Denzel in the comments says, I'm not going to lie, I'm actually gutted. Arsenal didn't get Martinez. Understandable why we didn't, because the fee is nuts. But then Dan says, Denzel, that's not the reason you didn't get him, but whatever. He was always choosing United over Arsenal. And I think, to be fair, the amount of money Arsenal have spent, especially in their defence over the last couple of seasons with White, Gabriel, etc., I think they're good. They might not. I think they threw their hat in the ring.
Yeah.
But when you realise the Ten Hag link and the vision, the project, no Champions League football, obviously, but Yeah, it looks like Lisandro Martinez will end up at Manchester United. Whilst we're on United, what else have we got?
De Jong, obviously, just to balance it out for the Man United fans, we don't want to give you too much joy. Of course, we saw that you agreed, the fee.
Doesn't always mean it's going to happen, that,
exactly,
does it,
yeah. I mean, yeah, Rafinha.
There you go.
I know better than most. Take it from somebody who knows. Just because you agreed a fee, it doesn't mean they're coming. It's just... it's like buying a drink, for your favorite girl at the bar. Doesn't mean anything,
Exactly.
It's just a drink, guys. It's just
That's
a drink. 75 million euros to rise into 85 million euros for De Jong. But as we know, the personal terms has always been an issue, and the player is owed money by Barcelona.
17 million euros.
Can you imagine?
I mean, that's like mafia levels of we're sending someone round business.
Yeah.
Seriously, bro, you try that in the Gotti era in New York. There's no chance. But 17 million, how does that get racked up?
I don't know.
How does that get paid back? Is it over a period of time? I mean,
it's like they haven't paid him for like a year and a half, maybe.
Is there not like a PFA equivalent in Spain that he can go to and be like, what's going on here? I'm owed 17 big ones.
Speak to the Spanish government or something. I don't know. Yeah, well. It's a strange one. They owe De Jong money. They own PK money. They own
PK like 80, bro.
Yeah, I think they owe Jordi Alba some money. Maybe some Busquets as well. So yeah, Barcelona owe a lot of people a lot of money. And the whole issue with this is that obviously De Jong wants his peas. He wants his bread.
Fair enough.
As I would too.
Knock on the door. It's been a year, bro. Where's my peas?
I've been doing community service for like the last year. What is this? Am I in time out?
Doing time over, extra time.
So yeah, I mean, he's owed money. And I'm guessing, listen, he wants that paid before he even considers moving. Now, Barcelona are desperate to get him off the wage bill because, of course, they are trying to bring in their own players. And, of course, they're in a lot of debt. And his wage does rise in increments as well. He's actually going to get paid more this year than he did last year. Some weird contract that they put on the table with their former president. And on top of that as well, De Jong, he obviously likes Barcelona and wants to stay there. That's his dream move when he went from Ajax. And to go from Barcelona to Manchester United, you can understand why he's hesitant, because although Ten Hag is there, that factor is there. They're not in Champions League. So that is obviously a drop off. And listen, Barcelona weather-wise versus Manchester, and I know now we're being treated, but this is not normal. No,
this is an anomaly. I hear it's going to be 37 degrees on Monday in London, which is 10 too hot for me. 10
I think
degrees
when it gets to that
for me.
Level of temperature, you just close the tube down, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, being on the Central Line especially, or Piccadilly in that heat, no
Jesus.
thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, listen, it looks like it's a difficult one for him because he's in a lose-lose situation. One, if he stays at Barca in this financial mess, he's not guaranteed games because they're bringing in new players. He's kind of fallen down the pecking order a little bit. It was his dream club. Now it's kind of ended in a nightmare.
Yeah.
And if you leave, they still owe you the money. So if you stay, do you know what I mean? He can't really win in this situation.
No.
And there'll be a PR spin around it.
Oh, yeah.
Him back at United with Ten Hag, there'll be a big PR spin on it. But deep down, he's probably going to bed crying every night because his dream club that he's always wanted to play for can't pay him, and they're sending him away against his will.
I think what Barcelona are doing needs to be investigated. Like not just because I'm a salty Chelsea fan who missed out on about 3 targets to them, obviously, but also because they had mixed reports coming out from Spain. They were always saying that, oh, well, maybe we can keep De Jong. We want him to stay. He wants to stay. Then now it's now apparently they've fed the information through to his agent and himself that he has to leave. You have to go. We need you to go. And it's a similar situation with Dembele, who wanted a wage increase, was running out of contract. They offered him a contract in December. He rejected it, and now he's making 40% less than that contract that they offered in December. But they kind of start to push you out there to the public and say, we need you to take a wage reduction. You're not taking it, so now we're going to gaslight you almost. And then the fans get on you, and it becomes quite toxic. So I think it's very unfair on De Jong that, listen, you signed the contract. You knew what you were signing up for. And now you can't afford to pay him. That's not his problem. Yeah, he's being bullied
by Barca. And I agree. Yeah. There needs to be some kind of... I mean, I'm sure there is. But again, you know how it gets with Spanish clubs sometimes. You saw the text that Ramos sent to the head of the Spanish FA to make sure that he could get the Ballon d'Or this year. Or last year, maybe. You've seen PK text the head of the Spanish FA to get a game move so he can go to a concert. Stuff happens where... If I'm honest, it's not totally above the board. And that does need to be investigated because it's not sustainable. And how can a club that big be run so badly financially. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Even Dani Alves came out recently and he said the reason why Barcelona's performance on the pitch has dropped off is because off the pitch they're run like a circus. And even, you know, we've seen players leaving those two giants and not really given the time of day, you know, even though they've achieved a lot for the club. Suarez, you know, kind of pushed out the door.
Bale,
you know,
obviously.
Bale, Casillas, you know. So
even
I don't know.
the way Raul was treated at the end, I think wasn't great. Yeah, no, it's definitely... I mean, you can be there for years and years, win all this stuff. When it's the time to go, you're getting pushed out the door like everyone else.
But yeah, it's still everybody's dream move. You got Rafinha taking a wage cut from Leeds to join. So the pool is incredible.
I just can't, interesting situation.
Yeah.
So United, players coming in, very hopeful obviously with Martinez and Jong still to be finalised, but a fee has been agreed. It's down to the player. And let's see what happens. But I'm rooting for De Jong. I'm rooting for him to get what he wants. Yeah. Not necessarily what the clubs want. Yeah. So 100%. There you go. What's next?
The next story, Spence from Middlesbrough, of course, was on loan at Nottingham Forest last season. That's where he caught all of the attention. And of course, he was never going to try and stay in the Championship. He wants to move up, just as his club have. And he's going to Tottenham. Confirmed that here we go again. You know,
12.5.
12.5 initial.
That's a bit of a snip, is it? Considering the market value, he's obviously had a great season last year, played well in the FA Cup especially. Yeah. But that's a bit of a deal, that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, 12.5 with some add-ons, you know, under 20 million package total. It depends what those add-ons are. I think for Tottenham, they have a situation at right wing back where they've invested quite poorly in Emerson Royale. I think Doherty I can sympathise with a little bit more because similar system at Wolves, played really well, and then has just come to Tottenham and fallen, you know, off a cliff. I don't know what's happened to him, but he did start to improve under Conte in the latter parts of the season there. But I think Spence is good competition. He's young. Can he step up to this level and be a constant starter for Tottenham? You know, question remains to be seen. Obviously, he had a great game against Arsenal, I believe, in the Cup, and everybody that kind of caught attention there. Obviously, they knocked Arsenal out of the Cup in the early rounds. I haven't seen a lot of Spence because I don't watch a lot of Nottingham Forest, but he has been talked about in a great way. And I know from personal experience with Chelsea is that when you've got players that do really, really well in the Championship and excel, you can trust them to make that leap to the Premier League. They do tend to perform. You look at Elise at Reading, comes to Palace. Yep. We've got a lot of defenders that, you know, went to Derby, you know, went to Swansea, did very well, come to the Prem. I think Ligue 1 and the Championship are probably the best translations to the Prem in terms of like physicality, all that kind of stuff. And the style in the Championship has improved as well. So
Championship's one of the... Do you know what? I've made this shout in the past, and I'll say it again. I reckon the Championship is maybe the 5th or 6th hardest league.
It's a dogfight.
I mean, we obviously name a league from every country, don't we? We say France, Germany, Italy, Portugal. But the Championship, in terms of physicality, duration, it's like 46 games. I mean, that's a tough slog. So if you can really do well in the Championship, I think there's as you say, a good chance for you to go to Ligue 1. Ligue 1.
Yeah, and you know, with that formation that Conte is going to play, Perisic will be on the left, maybe Spence on the right. It'll be interesting to see the balance. If Perisic pushes further forward, we know naturally he's more of a winger, but he played wing back for Inter Milan as well. That kind of maybe counterbalance with Spence dropping into right back. Maybe it shifts to a 4. So it'll be interesting. I think when you've got someone that's comfortable playing right back and knows his defensive duties playing at wing back to counter Perisic, who may get further forward, I think that's good as well.
Here's a question for Tottenham fans. If you are Ryan Sessegnon or Matt Doherty, how do you feel about coming into training and seeing these new players that have basically come to replace you? I think that, to me, Conte saying, I can't trust you to do this job that I need.
I think Sessegnon should be fine because Perisic is a lot older. So I think age-wise, there's a good balance there where you could say, listen, learn from Perisic for a season. He was incredible at Inter Milan. I think he won Inter Milan Player of the Year, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
Or, you know, and he was a man of the match in the Coppa Italia. This is a player that has played for Bayern, international caps, great professional, takes care of himself, quick, 34, etc. Learn from him.
Proper athlete.
Learn from him. Then after a season, you know, maybe you can start in more games. But Sessegnon's not exactly ripped it apart where you demand to be starting. You know, he came from Fulham as a young kid. I remember he was very, very talented. Everybody was, you know, waxing lyrical. And then he comes to Tottenham and he kind of starts to stagger a little bit, goes on a few loans. Maybe it hasn't worked out.
Didn't he go to Germany at some point?
Yeah, was it Hoffenheim? I'm not sure.
I think it might have been Hoffenheim.
So he's kind of rebuilding his career, but I think this system suits Sessegnon. So he should learn under Perisic. And I think on the other side, Doherty's a lot older. And he's got now, you know, younger, fresher legs behind him to, you know, kick him up the arse and say, listen, you've got to perform or you're going home. And Emerson Royale, listen, it's only been a season. I tend to give players 2 seasons to prove themselves. But this boy cannot defend. He cannot cross. He cannot attack. He cannot do anything.
Stealing a living, really. And they've got Reggie on as well. Is he going back to Madrid?
I would assume so, yeah. I mean, I would assume so. There's been a lot of links with Reguilon out of the club.
I can't see him starting there, though, when they've got Mendy at left back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a strange one for him. I mean, he had a great season at Sevilla.
Got Marcelo, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Marcelo retired now. Yeah. So, but even David Alaba can play.
Oh no, it's Sevilla. Well. Is it Sevilla?
Sevilla that he was at. Yeah, he was at Sevilla before. Did really well.
Yeah.
I think they won the Europa League. So I don't know what happened with him. He kind of just didn't adapt to the Premier League, I guess.
Yeah, going back to Sevilla. So there you go. Djed Spence, it's been on the cards for a while, to be honest. I know Fuad has mentioned it as well, that he'd like to see that move happen. So Spurs fans, let us know how you feel. Have you got yourself a new Andy Robertson, picking them up from the Championship, getting them in the Premier League, giving them a go? Yeah. Who knows? Let us know in the comments. Let's stay with the Premier League. What else have we got?
Well, Manchester City today have made decisions, it would seem. Weinstein puts that out there today, that Zichenkco will be allowed to leave. I'm guessing that's really for Cucurella coming in. Obviously, that's been going on for a while now, and I think maybe one exit leads to an income in there. I'm pretty sure they'll agree a fee quite nicely, and Cucurella personal terms won't be a problem. So Zichenkco, we spoke about it yesterday on yesterday's show, to Arsenal as their Martinez replacement, I guess, plays in similar positions. And Ake therefore won't be going, and he will be staying at Manchester City this season, according to that report. Now, obviously, he was linked with Chelsea. Around about 41 million fee was the roundabout fee that they were looking for to reclaim what they paid from Bournemouth. But a lot of Manchester City fans that I speak to as well, they were saying, listen, it doesn't really make sense to let him go. He's a good fourth choice. Every time he comes in, he does a job. And if we let him go, we're going to have to bring in a fourth centre-back. So, I think for Manchester City, they're more than happy to keep Ake. And I think for them, Zichenkco, he obviously wants more game time. Maybe he wants to play further up the field like he does for his country, maybe not at left-back as much. And if Cucurella's coming in, he's not going to get the game time. Ake fills in as a deputy left-back. So I think competition-wise, depth-wise, Man City will be fine. And yeah, for me, I'm quite happy to see Ake, stay in there, because I think we don't really need him. I said it on yesterday's show. I think if you're going to get a left-sided centre-back, you go and get Kimpembe. He's got the relationship with Silva. He's worked under Tuchel before, and focus on other areas. So I think, and Zichenkco to Arsenal. I mean, what do you make of that? We'll start with that. What do you make of that, Zichenkco?
Again,
Arsenal?
At left-back. So they brought Tierney in. He was supposed to be, the guy that leads them as a captain probably for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Too many injuries. Definitely a good player there. Too many injuries. Can't rely on him. So that's why they brought in Tavares. He's not exactly set it on fire. So now they're looking at potentially a third left-sided / left wing-back / left-back to come in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting congested in that area for them. They brought in Cedric and Tomiyasu again. Haven't really set it alight. So for them to be going back in the market, looking at Zinchenko, I don't think City sell 2 players to Arsenal. I know there's a good relationship between obviously Arteta and Pep.
Yeah.
But I can't see them getting 2 off them. And Zinchenko, if I'm honest, and City fans would probably agree with me, I think he was really good for them. I don't see why. I mean, if I'm honest, I'd take him 9 days out of 10 over Cucurella. I know Cucurella has signed a 4-year deal, so he'll be expensive with Brighton. He's a player of their season. There probably is a release clause, and they're snooping around for sure. But I'd rather have Zinchenko, if I'm honest, than Cucurella.
I think they're 2 different players, because obviously Zinchenko is more of a midfielder for country. He's maybe more of an inverted fullback, you could say. He wants to pick up the ball in central areas or drift into central areas. Cucurella's more of an overlapping, fullback, where he's going to stretch the pitch and he's going to run up and down, and he's going to give you that overlap around the outside for maybe a Grealish to tuck in if he's cutting inside. So I think it's just a change in the way they approach things. I think if you go over Zinchenko, I remember when they had Sané on the left wing, then they needed an inverted left back like a Delph to cut in and underlap, because Sané would always hug the touchline. So I think it's just a change in approach in terms of that. I think Cucurella's a great signing. He's had a great year at Brighton. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps that going. He won Player of the Year there. I think with Zinchenko, he has done very well. He has. I wouldn't say it was a position of weakness, but if the player wants more game time, can you really block him? It's one of those ones. I can see them getting 2 players, Arsenal, from them, just because I feel like City at the moment are balancing their books quite nicely, and they won't see Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus as 2 players that were irreplaceable or put their title hopes in doubt. They were just good players for Manchester City, but they weren't needle movers. They weren't constant starters. Even we saw Cancelo play left back a lot. So, you know, they like Cancelo at that side as well. So, yeah.
They have. Yeah, no, it looks like 30 million and above that Arsenal are going to go in with. And to be honest, I know I just said I couldn't see them signing 2 City players, but the way it's being spoken about, with Man City saying you can go, apparently the Zichenkco camp are keen on the move as well. Yeah. So I can see that happening now.
It makes sense.
I think there is a Premier League rule that you're not allowed to buy more than 2 players from a club.
Really? I didn't know that. I mean, you guys didn't follow that rule with Southampton, did you?
I think we just did it enough, so we spread it out over a few windows. I don't think we ever got like 3 in a window. I think we definitely got 2 a couple
You must have. You got Klein, you got Lovren,
Lambert,
you got Van Dijk,
Lallana.
Lambert, Lallana, that's 5. Mane, 6. You's absolute madmen.
I think that was over about 4 years. To be fair, we gave them a lot of money.
There's probably more, by the way. I'm just spitballing.
7 you've got?
Yeah, I think let us know in the comments if there's more.
I think that's it, to be fair.
Yeah, because then the rest of the team was robbed by others like, you know, Schneiderlin, Wanyama, Shaw. It was a great team.
It was, you know.
That's like
a top 6 team, that.
Alderweireld.
Yeah. Unreal.
Chambers.
Yeah, Wanyama went to Tottenham, didn't you?
Yeah. It's an incredible Tadic, who's now gone to Ajax and absolutely ripped it up. Unbelievable. I think he's captain.
Yeah, he is. He scored like 100 goals for them.
That Southampton team, let us know in the comments. That Southampton team.
14, 15, are we saying, team?
Yeah.
13,
Pochettino's manager. They could have made Champions League. You heard it here. Probably not first, but they could have made Champions League under Poch. That Southampton team was unbelievable.
Unreal. Yeah. So, but we have given them a lot of money. Probably paid for a new training ground or something like that. Underrated team, says Billy. Absolutely true. Yeah. Right. So Chelsea. Let's talk about your team now.
Yeah.
Sterling comes in.
Yeah.
Just a quick word on him. I mean, what is he going to do for Chelsea? And to me, that's an amazing deal.
Yeah. 45 million. 5-year deal. I think
27. 100 odd goals in the Prem.
Yeah. Really. I mean, he's Pep's 3rd highest scorer. Literally behind, you know, Messi and Aguero. So I think it's brilliant business. Yeah, I think it's brilliant business. I think when you look at Sterling, for me, there's 3 issues in Chelsea's attack. There's a lack of 1v1 ability to take players out of the game and dribble past them. There's a lack of finishing and there's a lack of chance creation. And I think Sterling kind of brings a little bit of all of that.
All 3, yeah.
Now, mostly definitely the 1v1. Brilliant at going past players. Chance creation wise, that is a form of chance creation. I think passing wise, we still need to improve on that side of chance creation, but going past players is a form of it. And then finishing, of course, people will say, you know, he's not a human Son finisher in terms of conversion. He's not a Mane or maybe a Salah, but his anticipation to get into the right areas. If you put the ball on a plate, you expect Sterling to be the one to arrive. And there's many times where Chelsea do put the ball across the box with Reece James on the right, and there's nobody there. So as long as
the amount of goals he scores for City at the back post tap-in.
He does it for fun. So it's constant with him. I'm sure there'll be some bad misses. There was one for England via Reece James, actually, coincidentally. But I think with Sterling, as long as you know, again, we need to create a lot of chances. And that's why I say chance creation is important, because at City, he gets chance after chance. They all do. So many chances. They created the most chances in the Premier League last season. We need to make sure that we create more chances so you can, I guess, afford to miss more. So that's Chelsea's big issue, along with the finishing. The reason why the finishing is more highlighted is because we don't create as much. So then when you miss, people notice even more. If you create 10 chances a game as opposed to 5, you'll notice the finishing more. So even if you miss the same amount of chances, put it like that. I think with Sterling there, for me, great signing. That's one. We need another one. So I'm happy with that. Koulibaly coming in as well. He's now in LA, getting that official. I think it might be officially announced today. That's all done. And now we're chasing Kimpembe and Kounde. So that's linked to the Nathan Ake.
You know what? Story. There was a massive debate on the show last night on the watch along where Robbie said, why, when Chelsea, the academy that they have, do they insist on keep going out and spending all this money on these big name defenders when if you roll back maybe 2 years ago, Tomori could have easily started and played. Gay could have easily started and played.
Yeah.
Do you find it frustrating as a Chelsea fan seeing that where, because now all these defenders, Gay's starting for Palace, captain, Tomori's just won the league with Milan.
Yeah.
Do you need to be going and buying Kimpembe and Koulibaly? In my opinion, you don't.
Well, I guess now we have to get a defender in because we've lost Rudiger.
Mari Hutchinson, by the way, looking like that's a done deal from Arsenal.
Yeah, a young kid there as well. So we seem to be buying some talent in terms of that as well. With another American goalkeeper coming in as well. So when it comes down to that, I agree with you. It is frustrating. It's a lack of foresight. It's a lack of planning. It's a lack of belief. And it's also a lack of pathway because we won the Champions League with that defense, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, but they were all running out of contract the season after. So if you have a bit of foresight, and this is where a sporting director comes in, and you kind of think 2 steps ahead, you think, well, are these all going to renew? Are we going to have a problem in a year's time? Do we need to convince the current young defenders that we need to keep them and we're going to build with them, even though we've won the Champions League? We're gonna build for the future. I guess they wanted to go for the league last year. You know, that's why Lukaku came in. It didn't work out. Those young players obviously want to play. They know how good they are, and they've shown that. So it is a bit frustrating. I think we can rectify that by keeping Levi Colwill, or at least making a pathway for him, and which is why I'm happy there's no Nathan Ake. I don't think you needed to sign 2 left-footed defenders, which is what we were talking about on the show yesterday. And now Kimpembe comes in. You replace Rudiger on that left-hand side. You need that seniority, and Levi Colwill is, you know, on loan from Huddersfield. He can be the backup to a Kimpembe, and he can, you know, he can learn and hopefully grow. If not, then obviously I'll be disappointed. And then on the other side, you've got Kounde, who, you know, is really good defender from Sevilla, perfect for a back three, I think, because in terms of, like, you know, ball progression, very good dribbler, steps out into midfield. And then obviously you've got Trevor. Trevor's been promoted.
Yeah.
I know people get frustrated.
Play a lot?
He played a good amount of games last year. You know, I know people obviously will speak about Chelsea not getting the most out of their academy, but we probably out of the top 6 have still used the most academy players. You look at, you know, Gallagher's going to be used this year. Ethan Ampadu's coming back as well from his loan at Venezia. You know, so there are players being given a chance, just maybe not enough. Also, sometimes youth blocks youth. And if you have 2 21-year-old talented fullbacks, say James and Livramento, they can't both stay for a decade. So one's got to go because they both want to start. So sometimes it's youth that does block youth as well. So it's difficult.
Right, we're just going to take a small moment to fix the audio and we'll be back with you very shortly. Sorry about that. And we are back. Sorry about that. Right, let's finish on Chelsea. I know we've been speaking about the players that they're looking to bring in.
Yeah.
Today, Tuchel has said the following on Lewandowski. He says, I don't think we have a chance to sign Lewandowski, but if there is, he's one of the best number 9s. I think right now there is not the first priority to get another big striker in, he added. And also, they're out of the race now for Ronaldo, officially. He's saying he wants a different kind of players and a project. This is why he decided against Ronaldo, who has apparently turned down a formal, lucrative proposal from Saudi Arabia and apparently an approach from an MLS club.
Yeah. I think with Lewandowski, you have to look at the fact that his priority is Barcelona. He's come out many a time and said that he wants to go to Barcelona. So it's almost a Rafinha 2.0 situation where you don't want to get yourself too embedded or too invested in bringing in a player that their preference is Barcelona. Yeah. You could agree a fee with Bayern, and then he ends up waiting for Barcelona again, and that wastes resources or time for us, and we don't want to go through that. And I also... I understand where Tuchel's coming from, where he isn't really looking for a striker, maybe so to speak. He's looking for another forward, another interchangeable, fluid player that can play on the wing, as well as maybe up front if need be. But you've got Kai, you've got Broja. It does sound a bit light up there. But if you invest 70 odd million in Kai, you have to believe that he can be your main man up there. I don't think all of Chelsea's issues up front will be solved in one window, but you can try. So yeah, I think also Gnabry today signed a new he's going to sign a new contract.
Big news at Bayern.
So that's one of the targets that was mentioned on the wide positions. Obviously, his contract is running out in 2023, but he looks like he is going to sign a new contract. So that takes that target off the table. So yeah. And Ronaldo, mad.
Less said about that, the better, to be honest. Right. There is something that has semi-broken whilst we've been on. 7 minutes ago, the Barca Times and Gerard Romero, who is a very, would you say, valued journalist within the scene?
Yeah.
Respectable.
Twitch. He's on Twitch a lot. I've seen his Twitch streams. Lots of dancing.
Gerard Romero, yes, he is on Twitch. Gigantes Football Club as well. So he has said, and again, this is 7 minutes ago, there is an agreement between Barcelona, and again, this is just wild how Barcelona keep doing this, Man City and Jorge Mendes for Bernardo Silva. Right, the price is less than 80 million. So everything that we've just spoken about, the financial disarray that they find themselves in, what is going on? Like, De Jong's about to be sold potentially against his will, and apparently now there's an agreement between Silva and Barca. What is happening in the football world?
You see in English football, if we go over wage limits, if we can't register players, if we break rules with signing players too young, we get a transfer ban. We get a transfer ban, and we're told, go and sit.
Rightly so.
Yeah, rightly so. Chelsea have had it a couple times. Go and sit in the naughty corner. You miss a window. You miss 2 windows because you don't know what you're doing. You're not meeting the financial, limitations that you need to reach. You've got to reach certain price points every single financial year, and we pay the price. Barcelona don't seem to have that rule. They don't have any transfer ban. They don't have to adhere to any rules. Obviously, La Liga value them highly because they're one of the top 2 clubs. They're bringing a lot of revenue, TV-wise, etc. But that just allows for them to do whatever they want. And I kind of feel sorry, I guess, for the rest of the clubs in Spain, where you can clearly see that you're not really given a fair crack, because at the end of the day, the top 2 clubs can do whatever they want. They'll always be bailed out, regardless of how much debt they're in, regardless of whether they're meeting, clear rules and regulations in terms of wage, in terms of, registration. And if there's no rules, what's the point in playing the game?
No, it's true. I totally agree. But that is kind of picking up a little bit more now. Bernardo Silva to Barcelona, and it's looking like maybe the money that they get in for De Jong they'll use. But can you just scroll back up there, JC? Yeah, leave it there. This was 22 hours ago, but officially FC Barcelona have communicated to De Jong that he must leave, right? Must leave. Xavi wants a midfielder, preferably Bernardo Silva. So, I mean, this is just a real roundabout merry-go-round of a mess, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
they sold their TV rights, I think 10%. Then they were going to sell another 15%. Then BLM, they were looking to maybe sell about 49%. So they're getting in money from these different avenues, selling assets. You'd
but
say
they need
TV.
it now, though.
They need it now.
This isn't a Klarna, they need it now to pay off. And how many hundreds of millions have they got to pay back in wages?
I mean,
it's making a mockery of football, if I'm honest.
A little bit. I mean, obviously,
I'm annoyed by it.
When you've got a debt that big, you're never going to pay it up front. You're going to pay in increments over time. My thing is that you're buying more players when you owe people money. Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing.
Pay the money back you
it's
owe
like
to the players first.
Let's say if I lent you 100 quid.
Yeah.
And I asked for it back, and you said, "Oh no, bro, I ain't got that." And then I saw you in a casino. I'd be like, "What are you playing?" I'll just come in and be like, right, I'll take these.
I'll be playing red or black, spinning your 100 quid, seeing if I can make 200 quid.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then you don't get your money back.
Well,
and if I do make 200 quid, I go and spend it all anyway because I'm not paying you back.
Exactly, that is Barca right now. I just don't understand what's happening. It's mental. And of course, Barca still owe Liverpool money from the Coutinho deal.
Yeah, they owe money on the De Jong. Apparently, the De Jong deal was done in installments, so they still owe Ajax some money as well. So it's not. I assume it's not going all on transfers. You would assume it would be going on contracts. It would be going on potentially releasing players like Pjanic.
A new stadium, they've got to pay for that as well.
Yeah, but I think they're going to get an investor there. So
honestly,
yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, that's why, funnily enough, if you saw the reports about Lewandowski, you saw Rafinha, those clubs didn't want installments for those deals because they were afraid Barcelona wouldn't exist in a couple of years.
I'd say pay that now.
Yeah.
Who's doing the audits at this gaff? Is it Stevie Wonder? Because whoever it is must be blind. There's too much going out and not enough coming in. It doesn't take a genius to work it out. Like I'm not a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that needs investigating.
They are going to start selling. You'll see new sponsorships on their shirts. You know where you got the sleeve sponsorship?
Oh, you'll have.
Now you're going to have like
nipple sponsor, left nipple sponsor.
Sock sponsor. You're going to have sponsors
short
everywhere.
Sponsor.
Yeah. Halftime show.
Back, front.
The BMW yellow card.
I even saw that they were selling people wedding
reservations at the new camp.
There.
Yeah, 100%.
They really must need that money. The grass as well is too long. They need a new lawnmower. They can't afford it.
Obviously, Spotify, the Spotify Stadium now, isn't it? It's been renamed the new camp. Yeah, Spotify new camp.
And PK, what's going to happen with him?
Yeah.
Obviously allegedly cheated on Shakira, which is probably for a different show.
Yeah.
But there you go.
We'll definitely host that one as well.
Yeah, that's DR Entertainment. Don't worry about that. It's the Spotify new camp now. So it's not sounding good.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that to my playlist.
And I think that's a good way to end the show. We've gone through some massive stories there, to be fair, and we've obviously semi-broken one with Silva to Barca. But listen, we've still got about 7 or 8 weeks of this merry-go madness still to happen in the transfer window until it shuts at the end of August/start of September. So strap yourselves in. It's going to be a mad few weeks. And myself, Robbie, Matisse will all covering it for you on DR Sports, individually and together. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Obviously, the Saturday Football Show will be back. But don't forget, tonight, it's the Lionesses' turn again. They're playing Northern Ireland in the Euros. Make sure that you are subscribed and locked into DR Sports tonight for that. We've got some amazing guests on there. Matisse, it's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
As it always is,
As
mate.
it always
Great
is.
knowledge.
100%.
And we'll see you again soon. Take care.